Under the sharp fluorescent lights of the Navy mess hall, the sound of boots echoed across the polished floor. Conversations hushed when Captain Harris walked in, tall, rigid, the kind of man whose presence made even seasoned officers stand a little straighter. But that day, all eyes weren't on him. They were on the new recruit sitting quietly at the end of the long metal table. A young woman, maybe in her early 20s, eating alone, silent, unbothered by the murmurs around her. Asterisk, asterisk. What city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more real stories about extraordinary people. Asterisk, no one knew who she was. She had arrived just that morning, carrying nothing but a single duffel bag and a transfer order stamped in red. Her name tag read, M. Lane. No rank. No insignia. Just that simple tag, stitched in black thread. From the moment she stepped into the base, whispers had followed her. Some said she was a failed trainee sent for disciplinary review. Others believed she had connections in high places, a nepotism case, the kind that irritated men like Captain Harris. You watched her from across the room as she quietly finished her meal, eyes fixed on the steel tray in front of her. Her hands were steady, her posture perfect, and something about that composure, that calm in the middle of the mess, rubbed him the wrong way. He walked toward her, each step deliberate. The chatter died down. She looked up, meeting his gaze, eyes calm, unreadable. "You're the new girl," he said. "Yes, sir." "What's your assignment?" "I haven't been given one yet, sir." That answer irked him. "So you're just waiting?" "Yes, sir." Captain Harris leaned closer, his voice hard. "You don't eat in my hall without earning it. Not until you prove you belong here." Without warning, he grabbed her shoulder and shoved her tray off the table. Food splattered across the floor. Then, before anyone could react, he pushed her hard, sending her sliding halfway across the table. Gasps filled the room. Soldiers froze mid-bite. But she didn't fight back. She didn't shout. She simply steadied herself, climbed off the table, and stood tall. Her eyes never wavered. "Permission to speak freely, sir?" she asked. He sneered. "Go ahead. You just made a mistake." Her tone wasn't defiant. It was factual, cold, controlled, the kind of calm that comes from knowing exactly how much damage you're capable of doing and choosing not to. He laughed, the kind of cruel laugh that invites others to join in. "Is that a threat, Private?" She didn't answer. She simply picked up her duffel bag, placed it neatly by her chair, and sat back down. That act, that quiet defiance, stirred something in the room. For a moment, even the air seemed to pause. Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a storm rolled over the base. Rain hammered against the barracks windows while Captain Harris stood in his office, replaying what had happened. Something about her expression lingered in his mind. That calmness, that control. He opened her personnel file again, but it was nearly empty. Redacted lines, classified fields, authorization clearance far above his own. That was unusual. Very unusual. He picked up the phone and called the base intelligence officer. "Lieutenant," Harris said, "run a full check on a new arrival. Name's M. Lane. No rank listed." There was a pause on the other end. Then the lieutenant replied quietly, "Sir, I'd advise you not to do that." "Why not?" "Because her record's sealed by Naval Command." "Who seals a rookie's file?" There was silence. Then a whisper. "Sir, she's not a rookie." The next morning, training began as usual. The squad assembled in the rain, boots sinking into the mud. Captain Harris called the roll, then barked, "Today's exercise, endurance and survival. You'll follow my lead." When he reached Lane's name, he hesitated. She stood at attention, eyes forward, water dripping from her hairline. No emotion, no hesitation. "Lane," he said sharply, "you'll lead second squad. Let's see if that attitude comes with skill." The others smirked, expecting her to fail. They started the run, 12 miles across rough terrain, full gear, through mud and hills. One by one, soldiers began to lag. But Lane never broke stride. She didn't slow, didn't speak, just moved like a machine, breathing steady, boots striking rhythm. By mile 10, even Harris felt his lungs burning. When they reached the final checkpoint, Lane was already there, standing at attention, barely sweating. "How did you?" he began, but she cut him off quietly. "Permission to return to formation, sir." Something inside him shifted. That night, rumors spread again, faster this time. Someone had seen her in the training yard at dawn, running laps with a 50-pound rucksack. Another claimed she disarmed 2 Marines during a sparring drill without even breaking a sweat. On the third day, Captain Harris couldn't resist testing her again. He called a close-quarters combat session. "Pair up," he ordered. "Lane, with me." A few soldiers exchanged looks. No one sparred with the captain. The match began. He lunged first, quick and forceful, meant to intimidate. But Lane sidestepped, fluid as water, her hand snapped into his wrist and twisting it behind his back in one clean motion. The move was so fast that even the instructor blinked in disbelief. "Release," he growled, but her grip held steady for a beat longer, firm, precise, before she stepped back and saluted. He rubbed his wrist, jaw tight. "Where'd you learn that?" She looked him dead in the eyes. "Naval Special Warfare Training, sir." The room went silent. The words hit like thunder. Every soldier froze. Harris's expression faltered for the first time. "That's impossible," he said. "That's SEAL training." "Yes, sir." He stared at her, searching her face for some trace of deception. But there was none. Later that evening, as he sat alone, a call came through on the secure line. "This is Admiral Keaton," the voice said. "I'm told you've been testing Lieutenant Commander Lane." Harris's heart sank. "Lieutenant Commander?" "Yes," the Admiral replied. "One of the most decorated operators in naval history. She's on assignment evaluating leadership conduct, including yours." The line went dead. The next morning, Lane stood in front of the formation. This time, her uniform bore its proper insignia, the trident of a Navy SEAL and the silver bars of a lieutenant commander. Captain Harris stood beside her, posture stiff, words caught in his throat. She addressed the unit calmly. "When I came here, I didn't come as a superior officer. I came to see how leadership treats those they think are beneath them." She paused, eyes scanning the crowd. "Respect isn't earned through rank or intimidation. It's proven through integrity." Her gaze turned toward Harris. "When someone weaker stands in front of you, you have 2 choices, to push them down or to lift them up. A true leader always chooses the second." No one spoke. The rain outside tapped gently on the glass. After the ceremony, Harris approached her. His voice was quiet now, stripped of its usual authority. "Commander Lane, I owe you an apology." She nodded. "Apologies are accepted through actions, not words, Captain." For weeks afterward, the base ran differently. Orders came with courtesy. Meals were shared without division. Even Harris found himself stopping to listen more, speak less. One afternoon, as Lane prepared to leave for her next assignment, she walked past the mess hall where it had all begun. Harris stood by the doorway. He said, "You taught me more in 3 days than most officers learn in a career." She smiled faintly. "Then my job here is done." As she walked away, the soldiers who once whispered now stood in silent respect. They didn't just see a woman anymore. They saw a warrior who had quietly reminded them what honor really meant. And from that day forward, no one ever raised their hand or their pride against another soldier in that mess hall again. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.